Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Daniela and today we'll continue with Mindhunter, this time episode 5 of the second season. In the last episode, Wendy and Greg went to do their own investigation. I'm guessing their first investigation. It went well to a certain point, but then things went a bit south. I'm guessing Wendy revealed something that she shouldn't about her sexuality, which I don't think Greg took it very well. But at the same time, he did thought that is part of the interview. She just said things to make the serial killer reveal something about himself. Bill and Holden are back to Atlanta. A lot more kids went missing. Some were discovered, unfortunately dead. But even that didn't went that great either. Apparently there was a ransom on one of the kids. It looked suspicious from the beginning because they were asking for $200 for the kid, which even in the 70s it's a little too little. But no one called, no one said anything, so the FBI lost the jurisdiction because they were there just because there was a kidnapping. But if there is no kidnapping, there is no help from the FBI. So that's that. Also, and the most surprising thing was at the end, the detective that investigates the murder of that infant came back to Bill and Nancy and revealed something quite horrifying, especially for a parent, that Brian was kind of the mastermind. He led the other kids to that house because he knew where Nancy was keeping the key, and he came with the idea to crucify the infant. I don't know exactly where that idea came from. Like in his little mind, how could he think of something like that? But at the same time, I do think he's a bit of a psychopath, so that's great. Anyway, the link to my Instagram is in the description. The super thanks are active on my channel. If, and it's a big if, you can and want to support me in a more personal way, is there, but there is no pressure. Don't feel the need to do that. Well, anyway, as usual, I got something to drink. The episode is ready to start, so without further ado, let's do this.
He never said a word. All kids have secrets, but this?
He tried to tell us, Bill. He kept saying, I'm sorry, Mommy.
I don't remember that.
When he wet the bed.
What did he think happened to that little boy? They had to know he wasn't breathing.
He wasn't a part of any of that. He watched.
He knew enough to put him on a cross.
Thought it would bring him back to life. I never liked that Martin boy.
We both thought it was good seeing Bri finally have friends.
Are they gonna take him from us?
I won't let that happen.
Apparently Holden's introduction wasn't well received by the safety commissioner. What did Holden say that so offended the city? The commissioner's excuse that this wasn't really a kidnapping was a convenient means to an end.
He gave the commissioner an overview, that we look for connections. He did explain he felt there could be a single black predator. It may have been more how he said it, sir, than what he said. He might have gone into more specifics than we can support right now.
We have to be smarter than this. If you send sense that Holden is wading into political waters. It's your job to stop him.
Barney told me there was nothing we could have done. It's all politics.
And it wasn't all politics, Holden, until you started selling your unsupported conclusions.
You agreed the perpetrator is likely black.
Can you see just for a moment how it might be perceived when you present a profile without ever having been to a crime scene? Next time, shut up until we've done some groundwork.
By saying that he didn't engage in those aspects of the crimes, he characterizes himself as a non-participant.
He might view his participation as having been beyond his control.
He knew exactly what was going to happen to the victims he procured.
I think there's a distinction between procurement, as fucked up as it is, and murder.
Distinction, yes, but not absolution.
I'm not excusing him. I'm just asking, can a teenager be held responsible for the actions of an adult? He was probably afraid of him.
Actually, he seemed to be more in thrall of Coral than he was afraid of him.
So is that why he stuck around? He got off on watching Coral kill?
How do we know Henley got off on it?
When I did something, whatever it was, I enjoyed it.
All I'm saying is he was 14. Can we really lump him in with Kemper and Brudos?
He's thinking about Brian.
But incredibly, he acknowledges a deep connection with a man that he saw do horrific things.
Maybe his need for acceptance was more powerful than any moral boundary.
And Coral exploited that.
No, we wouldn't have gotten any of this if I hadn't.
Improvised?
Maybe he made some shit up.
Touché.
The ME's report corroborates the testimony of the other children that Brian did not directly engage in the activities that led to the death of the victim. However, he was present, and as he has admitted, he was the one who suggested placing the victim on the cross.
He thought it would bring Daniel back to life.
Tension. A child has been forever lost to his family. The state cannot ignore that he had ample opportunity to go for help or to speak with you, his parents, after the fact. He chose not to. I am transferring him to the Department of Health and Human Services for evaluation.
Will we be able to keep him home?
Yes.
Honor student, school paper editor, lettered athlete.
Looks like a high school yearbook.
All grew up in average homes. Had high school education, some had college. Then all became runaways and somehow washed up in Manson's family. Their transformation to murderers took less than 2 years. Bruner and Beausoleil tried to pin their murder on the Black Panthers by writing political piggy on the wall in the victim's blood.
Helter Skelter. It was Manson's theme. Prosecution's case rested on his desire to incite a race war as motive and his control of the family as means.
Helter Skelter wasn't even Manson's idea.
As borrowed as the name.
He's a fraud.
Brian, come here. This is Miss Leland.
Ms. Leland. Hi, Brian.
Brian, why don't you go inside and meet some Clifford? I'll be right in. Go on.
Does he avoid you?
He's had a tough few weeks.
He's never done that. Doesn't know what it's like.
You're saying he's not worth our attention?
The mayhem has been copiously mythologized. If you really want to understand how that all went down, you should talk to Tex. At the murder site, I could relive the experience, feel the same elation, the incredible release. That need builds until it becomes a compulsion to a point that you have to hunt again. You can really savor that when you're in the exact spot.
What if you can't make it to a site? Too many people around.
I kept things, little trinkets, reminders of my experience.
The Polaroids. Was there a specific amount of time, something you could measure when the souvenirs weren't enough?
Have you got somebody, Holden? Someone you can't catch? Is that right, Bill? You found somebody who hasn't made the news yet. Just starting out.
Would you have any thoughts on someone like that?
Of course, but I'd have to be acquainted with the pertinent facts.
We can't discuss ongoing investigations, Ed.
This person you're after, he has an overwhelming fantasy life. These dreams will consume him. Soon the real world won't even compare.
We'd like to hear from you in your own words about what happened.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Damn.
We're mainly interested in then. How you met, influenced, and indoctrinated the people who followed you.
In love, there is no wrong.
Love. That's what you taught your family?
These children that come at you with knives, they're your children.
They were your followers, Charlie. You gave them the knife.
You taught them. I didn't teach them. I just tried to help them stand up.
Stood up, went out, and killed 7 innocent people.
Well, so now it's my fault? It's my fault that your children do what they do?
That summer you told the family now is the time for Helter Skelter. That they needed to start a race war by murdering wealthy white
That's
people.
the district attorney's fantasy. That's his fear. He doesn't have a case. So he puts Linda Kasabian on the stand, and she tells a sad story about how she has lied and cheated and done every dishonest thing that she could think of. Oh, but it's okay. She's telling the truth now. She wouldn't have any ulterior motive like immunity for 7 counts of murder.
You're saying she lied? All the witnesses lied?
Each witness got up and testified only what was best for them. They didn't testify what was best for me. Charles Manson, the most dangerous man alive. Hippie cult leader who programmed people to kill. In that book, he's got me so powerful, a look from me stopped his watch. Bobby Beausoleil was sitting in jail for murder. You dig? Tex and Sadie came to me and said, let's do some copycat killings to get him off.
You're saying the murders was just to get Bobby Beausoleil out of prison?
Those kids were looking at me with hard eyes.
This was their plan. You weren't responsible.
You got a circle that a man lives inside of. He's responsible for his circle and his circle only. If I wanted, I could kill you with your mic cord, with your pencil. But I want to love myself, so I'm not going to do that.
No, you're gonna put it in someone else's circle.
Tex, he put himself on me, man. He tried to make me look weak. We were moving forward inside ourselves. We were learning new things, and he changed it. And what now? He wants to go back to Jesus Loves Me? Blood of the Lamb? The right-wrong games we played for 2,000 years?
Right and wrong is a game?
There are no rights and wrongs. Only ises.
So the murder of 7 people just is?
Well, it is, isn't it?
You're a coward, Charlie. A coward who takes no responsibility for his actions.
Yeah, you eat meat with your teeth, you kill things that are better than you, and then you say your children are killers.
No, I'm saying you're a killer.
I have killed no one.
You ordered them to go to that house and slaughter everyone there.
I did not direct anyone to do anything other than what they wanted to do.
You didn't stop them either.
I always let children go. If he falls, that is how we learn.
You're not supposed to let children fall. You're supposed to guide them.
Guide them into what?
It's a bit personal.
Guide them into what you've guided them into?
You fucking midget.
This anger that you're feeling, Agent 10, this is just the anger that you got for you. Find someone else to put yourself on. I'm tired of being your goat. I'm tired of being your reflection.
You're not my reflection.
I've always been yours. I'm Pavlov's dog, man. I'm anything you want me to be. See, I never had any say in your world. You created it. How do you feel about those murders? That's what counts. Happened in your world, not in mine.
What counts is that you ordered the deaths of 7 people. 8, if you count an unborn baby.
Prison's in your mind. Can't you see I'm free?
You don't look so free to me, Charlie.
You don't look free to me.
That's it.
Bill.
Hey, man. I like your sunglasses. Can I have them?
Manson said he lifted these from him.
He said he stole them?
He was bragging about it. He's on his way to the home.
Nothing he ever said came true except for the things we did. Just say Charlie had a way of making you think things were your idea. He'd start small, like he'd gather us in a circle, and he'd put a chair in the middle, and he would tell us to imagine there was a person in that chair, that we had to scare them to death. Charlie would talk about things we might do to them. Those ideas, they were only ours because they were his first. Charlie was giving us so many drugs, we didn't know what fear was.
He gave them to you.
Belladonna, Orange Sunshine, STP.
Charlie talked about Helter Skelter.
All the time.
He told us Helter Skelter was concocted by the district attorney.
From the moment I met him, Charlie was talking about a race war. Chose Cielo Drive because he'd been there before.
So that was his idea.
They were all his ideas.
But he didn't go with you.
Charlie wasn't about getting his hands dirty.
He did go to the house.
Only after it was all over. Told me to kill everyone. He said, make it as gruesome as you can. Told me, kill them all.
And you did?
Yes, sir. People started coming in from other rooms. A man was coming at me, yelling. I had the gun, so I shot him. Women were screaming. We were stabbing people, running around. Sadie had to kick me to get me going.
But you got going.
And then we went into the living room.
Where Sharon Tate was.
She begged us to take her with us, let her have her baby, and kill her after. Didn't seem crazy at the time, the idea of taking her. I kept hearing Charlie's voice. Kill them all. Told me over and over again, make sure everyone's dead.
So you made sure.
I did what Charlie told me, except go to the other houses.
What other houses?
Charlie'd given us a list, but I was tired.
Do you think you would have ever killed anyone if you hadn't met Charlie?
I hope not. Pray to God I wouldn't have, but I know in my heart I harbored anger. I shot and I stabbed them.
But Charlie told you to do it.
Charlie never killed anyone. He just removed our fear of doing it.
What if the point of Helter Skelter wasn't a race war? What if it was about control?
Over the family.
A cause to forge solidarity.
What if Tex and Sadie did come up with the idea of a copycat crime? It may not have been what Manson intended, but they called his bluff. They were doing what he only talks about. From Manson's perspective, authority would have been threatened.
He'd had no choice but to go along with it.
At the La Bianca house, Manson went in and tied up the victims before sending the killers in.
He simply helped them be who they were.
Brian was playing with some older boys and a toddler. Things got out of hand, and the older boys ended up suffocating the toddler.
Oh my God.
Brian saw it all. He must have remembered the Bible story because he convinced the other boys to take the body and tie it to a cross.
And really, Bill, anything that I can do.
I'm gonna ask for your discretion.
Holden doesn't know. I understand.
Hello?
Hey, Holden. News from Atlanta.
Jim, tell me.
Another body, another strangulation.
How old?
12. Clifford Jones. He was clicking cans for change so his aunt could do laundry. Broad daylight. He's number 13.
So that was a thing. Finally, the big dream that Holden had of meeting Charles Manson finally happened. But I think in a way was a bit disappointed. I'm pretty sure he had another image of him, of this big mastermind serial killer, but all he got was, at least for me, just another kind of cult leader of the 70s, manipulating people. Also his big, I don't know, his big words and his ideology of, you know, him that was created by the bad in the world, that him being the way he is a consequence of the society that other people made him. He is definitely trying to seem more important than he is. It's a bit weird in a way, but totally expected from him, that he liked to control other people. He liked feeling in power, but at the same time he's pretty scared of the justice. After he was caught, he didn't want to admit to anything. He was the victim of, again, society, of people around him. He is not to blame. Others came with the idea of killing people. He was not there. But, you know, you, as Wendy said, I think, you can't take for sure anything he says. One of the followers, and you know, he was saying that my son told him to, you know, kill them all, do this and do that, and he didn't, at that time he didn't quite care because he was, you know, full with drugs, but you know, it's not unheard of for the kind of leader to, fill them up with drugs because are easier to control, and when they are addicted, they come to you to want for more. And but again, not even that confession kind of can be taken as 100% sure. So I don't know, in a way I don't see this fascination with Charles Manson, like to be so well known, or more people know about Charles Manson than, I don't know, Ed Kemper, that did, in my opinion, worse things. And it will sound very strange, but it was more interesting, more creative in a way. But yeah, the story with Brian moved along a bit. Brian, admitted, but apparently the idea with the cross came to him because he thought that he could bring the baby back to life if he's gonna, or they're gonna put it on a cross. At least it didn't came from a place of evil. In his mind, as twisted as the whole thing was, it came from a good place. Now, there are social services, psychologists, maybe psychiatrists, and, a lot of checkups, and to be sure that he is not a danger. Or, where all this came from. Know that the woman that came noticed that Brian avoided Bill. So I hope it's not a big problem. We're gonna see. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think there are a few more episodes, so it's gonna be great. Now it's gonna end bad because I don't know if the thing with Brian will be resolved, and now apparently there's another murder in Atlanta. BTK, I'm not hoping because he apparently, I'm guessing, I don't remember exactly, but I'm guessing this is the period that he kind of stopped. Well, that was that. Definitely enjoyed it. Really liked it. Can't wait for the next episode. But for now, this is all I have to say. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye.